And it is indeed the Tim Rebowe Show, powered by Thibodeau Regional Sports Medicine Center. A happy Monday to all. Jack Benjamin joined by Nicholls football head coach Tim Rebowe. The Colonels are 3-0, 2-0 to start Southland Conference play with a 31-24 victory over rival Northwestern State, bringing the real NSU trophy back to Thibodeau for a fifth consecutive time. Coach, those first couple of games were tremendous on both sides of the ball. Figured at some point this team would deal with a little adversity, and you had to go on the road for the first time, playing against a rival. You knew the emotions would be high. What enabled you guys to pull this one out down the stretch? Ultimately, a win's a win. You guys are 3-0.
Yeah, it was a great win going on the road. Big game, conference game. All those factors go in. Listen, every game is not going to be a blowout. I mean, I think people who are in this business understand that. I mean, it was a game we had to go in and fight and get everything that we earned. You know, get hats off to them. They did a good job. They were prepared. They had 2 weeks to prepare for us. It was their home opener. They hit us on some big plays, but at the end of the day, I think our players took over the game in that second half, and you know, some talent took over. It was good to see us, Jack, at the end run up, 5.5 minutes at the end of the game to run the clock out and be able to take a knee to win a game, to go 2-0 in conference, again, sitting on top. Then you move forward and look to the next one again.
When you look at the stat sheet, you guys were pretty good throughout in terms of dominating in a lot of stat categories. But, you know, you give the ball away 2 times on the road, you turn it over twice in the red zone, and then they had a couple of big kind of breakaway runs. How do you go about cleaning up some of those, what I guess you would consider really to be mental mistakes and things that just can't happen on the road?
The turnovers will always get you beat. You get into some good, close, tough games, and turnovers is going to be a factor. And when you look at it, I thought we were in good shape. We had what we wanted. We had the lead. We had the ball with a 2-minute drive with a chance to score right there, and thinking ahead, you get the ball to start the second half. And if you can go down and score again. We turned it over, didn't make it happen. Come out the second half, still with the lead, drove it down the length of the field again, and turned it over again. And all of a sudden, Jack, this is a game of momentum where you turn the ball over and you don't get in the end zone. It gives them a boost of energy. And then you look at the other side. We didn't get any turnovers where we had opportunities. We had the ball in our hands a couple times. Jarius Monroe, Jordan Jackson, Pig Cage had a chance to get some interceptions and put us in, set the offense up in good field position, and we didn't do that. So we got to be careful. We got to make sure we can win the turnover battle. As far as you know, defensively, I thought we played really, really well. I mean, when you look at what we did on third down, what we held them to passing it, we had a breakdown and a couple of missed tackles on 2 big runs, that they broke free, and that's going to happen. We just got to fix it. We got to rally to the ball, make sure we tackle and do a better job of that. And hopefully it won't happen again.
Talk with Tim Rebowe here on the Tim Rebowe Show. We're powered by Thibodeau Regional Sports Medicine Center. Colonels beat Northwestern State 31-24 in the battle for the real NSU trophy. And Coach, offensively, we talked about it, a few of the miscues there, but yeah, especially early on in the game, you guys score on your first 3 offensive drives, got into a really nice rhythm, and a guy we're going to talk about a lot is Julian Gums, what he was able to do on the ground, a career high 36 carries. I don't know if you went into this game thinking that he would be that kind of workhorse, but felt like a game where you had to be methodical on offense, use a lot of clock, especially in the second half. How pleased were you with the way you guys were able to move the ball really when you had to and burn some clock the way you did, especially at the end?
I think that's been Julian's forte since he's been here. He carried the ball early. Obviously, we didn't expect him to carry it that much late in the game. But when you're playing with the lead and you're trying to eat up the clock, that's another thing, Jack, that when we talk about the time of possession was just it was 2-1. And when you have some of those games, the score probably really shouldn't be as close as it was when you have that possession 2-1. But when you look at Julian and what he did in the fourth quarter, I thought the offensive line got better and better as the game went on. We started handling some of that movement and some of that stuff, and it was good to see those big boys up front taking the game over and plowing away to get those crucial first downs to run the clock out.
Defensively, just a lot of different playmakers, it felt like, both in the secondary and the linebacker core, the defensive line. Again, a game where there were just a lot of different contributors on the defensive side of the ball, and guys really making key plays at the key times when you had to get them, especially down the stretch.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Your playmakers got to make plays in certain situations. They got to step up. Those guys did. I don't think, at certain positions we played as well as we had been playing. And a couple of the linebacker spots we didn't play as well when you go back and you grade the film. But the good thing that I like about this team is, right after the game, it was happy. It was celebratory. We got the victory. But I think to a man, they all knew, hey, we could play better and the things that we got to do. And when you do that, and it's not coming from the coaches all the time, I think you have a chance. And I know this week's going to be better. We had a good practice on Sunday. The guys coming back, a little sore, a little bruised up, long trip that you talked about, but they were ready to move forward for the next week.
We talked all week long leading into this one, Coach, about it being a rivalry game, and this is a rivalry that runs deep. You've got so many of these guys. After the game, one of the things I love about this rivalry is after the game, a lot of these guys know each other. I mean, and you look at so many of them who have played in high school, played big games against each other at so many levels, have battled for 4 years. Just your thoughts on being able to get this rivalry back, and then also to win a fifth straight against a team where you're very dominant now for a stretch of time, 5 straight wins in the battle for the real NSU trophy.
I think it's good for all the parties involved. When you talk about the coaches, we know each other. I've been in this league a while. Me and Coach Laird are friends, guys on the staff who coached here. And, we've coached around. It's good for those guys to be able to get out, see each other again. The Anthony Selfos on the staff, the Mike Lucases, those guys that we know so well. It was really good to see them. And then the players, they played against each other in high school. Some of them played together in junior colleges and know each other from there. I think that's one thing that we miss, the camaraderie, even from the opponents, and after games. And you got to be careful, not shaking the hands and trying to get off the field and going our separate ways. Crazy that we talk about, right? You slobber knock the whole game against each other and you're saying, hey, stay away from me right after. But it is what it is right now. Things are getting better. But it was good to see our players. Jack, I'm going to say this, proud of this group. It's hard to beat opponents, but the record we have now 5 years in a row of taking care. I mean, that's something you don't want to take for granted. And I know that's things that they're fighting against. They're trying to want that trophy to stay back. And that it was good to bring it back home.
5 in a row against Northwestern State for the Colonels. They're 3-0 since the first time since 1986, that first playoff run under Sonny Jackson, and 2-0 now in Southland Conference play for another year as well. We're wrapping up a 31-24 win for Nicholls over the rivals from Northwestern State in the battle for the real NSU trophy. 5th straight time, it will be coming back to Thibodaux. Jack Benjamin joined by Nicholls football head coach Tim Rebowe. Coach, looking at this one, offensively first, you guys get 31 points on the board, not quite the 71 you were averaging through those first couple of games, but still plenty of playmakers. The start you got off to offensively, scoring on those first 3 drives, pretty methodical. Really, that first drive for me was pretty telling. You got a group, Coach, a new group you're bringing on the road for the first time, and they've got to convert a couple of 3rd and long situations early. Lindsey does a really good job spreading the ball around in that first offensive drive. Yeah,
that he knows what he has to do with that football and get it out. We had some you don't want to be in those 3rd and longer situations. We like the mediums and the shorts to get it going. But he did do a good job. I think he was finding his receivers. He used his feet a little bit. It was good to see Devontae Jason, make the big 3rd down catch. And then we had a 4th down situation that we were forced. We got the holding penalty to keep the drive going. So it was good. And I think he got us all involved early.
Yeah, Julian Gums caps off that opening drive with a touchdown. You guys go up quickly, and then the defense through 2 games again had been so solid, hadn't allowed many big plays at all. I mean, Lamar ran the ball for a total of 37 yards on 33 carries, but NSU does break one up the middle there. The offense has to respond, and again they do just that. You get a 3rd down and 3. How about Lee Negrado again? 2nd straight week, Coach, a big 3rd down catch for him, keeps the drive alive, and ultimately Dejan gets the touchdown catch.
Yeah, again, Lindsey knowing where his receivers are, knowing who's the guy's going to be open, making the right reads. When you talk to Lindsey and you look at it, he was a little disappointed in his play. It hadn't been as sterling as it was the first couple games, but it was good to see him fight through it and do that. And still, threw for 300 yards passing. He did a good job. But again, spreading the ball around, knowing the right reads, getting points on the board. I thought that was huge.
When it comes to a guy like Lindsey, Coach, again, who had been so solid those first couple of games, he makes a few mistakes and makes it in an area where I know you and every coach is going to stress the red zone so much when you're in that scoring opportunity. Do you see that as him maybe just trying to do a little too much, or what's kind of your mindset?
I think it's all the great athletes and the great players and the great team. Hey, it's the next play. You want to never tell athlete that he's trying to do too much. There's no that's his game. That's who he is. Let's go back to the same situations. I'm sure it would play out a little bit different. You never know that, but you can't harp on that and try to handcuff the guy and say, hey, don't do this or don't do that. You got to let those guys play in those certain situations. He knows what he has to do. He knows we got to be able to protect that football. I think it's a great learning experience, and we talked about it after the game, individually and as a team, that some great learning experiences, but you still come out with a win and you're able to move forward that way.
So you guys get up 14-7 after that touchdown drive, and then go up 21-7 again on a touchdown drive capped by a Dejon Dixon touchdown catch. Nothing new for Dejon, Coach. He's off to another great start this season. He's got 2 touchdown grabs in this one, 115 through the air to him. What did you like most about what he was able to do on Saturday night?
I think it goes back to what Dejon Dixon started last week on Sunday. The great week of practice that he had, the focus that he had. He had a really, really good week. It was expected for him to have a big game, and he came out and he did that. So he's so tough. He understands this too. He played a lot of snaps, and there's going to be guys that he's going to command their attention. So there's going to have to be some throws away from him. They were playing over the top of him a lot, doing some double coverage stuff, but he was still managed to get his catches and get his yards.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns for Dejon, Coach. He's only one back now of Mark Carrier for the most touchdowns in Nicholls history. He's got 23 now in his career. So, you're up 21-7. Again, it wasn't that easy a lot of times for the offense. They had to move the ball. Sometimes they had to settle for field goals at times. You had to make some plays there in the third quarter. Different guys stepping up. Let's go to Julian Gums, though, Coach, because this was a game where, again, you mentioned you didn't know he would carry it for a career high 36 times, but just the workhorse that he is, for him to be, early on in the season, looks like he's in midseason form already. It's only been 3 games.
Yeah, in the first 2 games, he was limited. Obviously, that first game we played a lot of running backs. The second game, too, and we kind of held back on him. But, Julian, what he's done the last couple of years for us, and he's earned a lot of that and earned a lot of trust, from the coaching staff and from his fellow players that, when you get in those games like that, then you're going to go to your playmakers and you're going to get those guys. And, hey, we got a lot of good backs. We do. We got to get them some more experience and get them in that situation, if, say, Julian does get tired or something happens down the road. But he wanted the ball in his hands. He was ready to go. And the thing that I like about it, too, with all the catches and, all the touches that he had, he came out Sunday and really looked good and will be ready to go this week.
Yeah, Coach, I don't know if you saw this too. Julian's over 2,000 yards now for his career, 9th Colonel to do that. So pretty remarkable for him just in his 3rd season, early on in his 3rd season to be able to get to that number. That's a pretty big threshold for him. But that final offensive drive, again, wasn't the easiest game, especially in the second half, battled through a lot of adversity. Just take me through that final drive and the ability of the team, when they really had to execute, put that game away, run the clock out down the stretch.
Well, Jack, if we could go back a little before that, I thought the drive they made it 21-14. In the drive, we came down and we got stalled. I think it was around the 20-yard line. And to get the 3 points for Gavin to come in, Lasang, and make the field goal and put us back up 10, I thought that was a huge, huge point in the game. Because, again, if you get stopped right there or a miss, the old momentum swings back into their favor again. So having a 10-point lead, I thought that was huge. And then, again, be able to go up. And then we held them to a field goal to come back to 7. But that last drive was quite impressive how the guys came by. They just took it over, that offensive line. It wasn't nothing fancy. It wasn't a lot of fancy formations. It was good old-fashioned, let's run the football. It was like they know you're going to run the football. We know we want to run the football. And to move that line of scrimmage like we did was big.
Nicholls outgains Northwestern State 545 to 304, and ultimately they seal a 31-24 victory. So the Colonels 2-3-0, 2-0 in Southland play. Again, the defense stepped up in a big way, did allow a couple big plays, but a lot of playmakers on that side of the ball too. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about a ranked showdown as well this weekend in Huntsville. Nicholls and Sam Houston State, a place where the Colonels have struggled over the years. Chance to go to Huntsville, get some redemption this coming week. Coach, moving the defensive side of the ball against NSU, another strong performance. Lots of playmakers on that side of the ball. Kevin Moore, again, and really just throughout his couple of years now he's been in Thibodeau, he's always been so solid as a leader in that back end. Leads the way for you guys, 7 tackles. Just take me through what you saw from Kevin.
Again, I like to think it's his preparation, the things that he does, and how he goes about handling his business, how he goes about leading those guys, not just on the back end, but all on defense. So he has a business-like approach to it all week. You can see it also, on our Friday and Saturday walkthroughs and how he goes about it, and he's getting those other guys along to play with him. He watches film. He knows what's going on. And the thing that I like, too, is he brings a big punch with it. He tries to pack a bunch and make some tough tackles and do that. And Kevin will be the first one to tell you after the game that he missed a certain play or missed a tackle. He's got to be better, on one of those runs on, how we fit some things up that we got to be able to do and not let that happen. So pleased with the way he's playing and how he's doing, and I'm pleased with his approach.
When you have a guy like that coach in the back end, and you have other guys who are, you've got a young secondary throughout, right? A guy like Jarius Monroe is one of the leaders back there. He's only a sophomore, but you have a Malik Woodery, a Pig Cage, a Keontae Williams. When you have someone like Kevin, does that really help everyone else around him with just the way that he leads and the way that he goes about it?
Absolutely. When you look at those guys, and we are constantly talking to them and trying to get them and coach them. And we talked about that. I told the coaches to always want to keep teaching. And I said, hey, players, you never want to stop learning. But also it means a little bit something different when it comes from one of your peers. It's just like the parenting. You can talk to your blue in the face, and all of a sudden your kids may listen to someone else. A different voice, a different word coming from him, a guy who's been there, done that. He's on the field. He has that experience. Obviously, those guys look to him for that leadership.
Jarius Monroe last year, terrific freshman season, and he's now stepped up here in year two, again as a leader in that back end, as only a sophomore, and really as your primary corner, and felt like he did a great job as well. We were talking about it on Saturday against NSU. You held their passing game in check, and they've got some talented receivers on the outside. He did a really nice job.
Yeah, I thought Jarius had a really good game. Might have been one of his better games since he's been here. He was all over the ball, had some pass breakups, had some tackles, just his effort. If you watch him run down the field, one of those long runs, potentially trying to strip the ball out and get it out of there. But again, he's a little bit more, the guy who likes to get the guys fired up and tries to get them going. But you can see him maturing each week and stepping into that role.
Again, we're speaking with Nicholls football head coach Tim Rebowe on the Tim Rebowe Show. We're powered by Thibodeau Regional Sports Medicine Center, recapping a 31-24 win for the Colonels to get to 3-0 and 2-0 in Southland Conference play. And then, as you always mention, Coach, starts up front. A couple guys in there. Glenn Thurman had a really nice game. Junior out of LaPlace, really clogging up the middle, doing a nice job. What did you see from him?
High energy, high effort guy. That's how he goes about his business all the time too. And it's tough for those guys in the trenches. The ball doesn't always find them. They got to do a lot of the dirty work, and that's what Glenn does. But his effort, in running to that football and making some plays down the line of scrimmage, was really, really pleased what he did across the front.
Ultimately, the Colonels end up holding on to that one, 31-24. Again, 2-0 in Southland play, 3-0 overall. And Coach sets up what's going to be a showdown in Huntsville this coming Saturday. A couple of terrific ranked teams. You're both going to be inside the top 15. Looking at this Sam Houston State team, year after year, they've been very consistent. They've had, by their standards, a couple of down years under Casey Keeler, but he's done such a great job. I know you're very familiar with that staff, what they've been able to do. They got the best of you guys last year, and they have gotten the best of you in Huntsville for a while now. Going in there, again, another hostile environment, second straight road game. What are you looking at in terms of keys for this coming Saturday to try to get a really big win?
Well, I hope some experiences that we've learned from last week, in traveling and going on the road can carry over again this week. It's been a while since we've done that, over a year and a half, gotten on the road to go play a game. So obviously a very, very good program. They do a tremendous job. They really do. Tough place to go and play. It's a road, but it's the next one on our schedule, and I'll tell you, our guys are going to be ready.
They've only played one game, so I guess it's an advantage, Coach. The last couple of weeks you've had no film. At least you have a game of film now, so that has to feel nice. But you're going up against an offense that put up 43 points in that first game. Their quarterback, Eric Schmid, was hurt most of last year. He's had 6 career starts. He's thrown for 400 or more in 3 of those. So a guy who can really sling it, plenty of playmakers. And then just a defensive front that you know very well. They're very big and thick and physical up front. In terms of kind of slowing down those areas, that big defensive line, and also Eric Schmid in that passing game, what will you be thinking about?
They have one game under their belt, and we'll be able to watch that film. We have been watching it, since the end of the last game. But, they got 3 games on us. Again, they had an open date. They have 2 weeks to prepare. That's always difficult. because you'll probably see some new wrinkles that you hadn't seen. And then they're going to try to take advantage of some weaknesses that they may have seen on film in 3 weeks. So our guys are going to have to be very well prepared. And look, they know who the playmakers are, on that offense. And we got to go there with the mindset, hey, it's going to be about us, as it always is. We got to be able to do our job individually. It's a one-on-one battle each week with the guy across from you, and that's what we got to get across our players. It's not us against Eric. It's the Colonels against the Bearcats that we got to be able to do. They're very good on defense. They're very active. Their front line is maybe one of the best that we'll face all year long. So we have to be well prepared.
Coach, final thing for you. This upcoming weekend has the potential to be a very special one for Nicholls Athletics. You're talking about you guys playing a top 15 football game at noon on Saturday. Nicholls men's basketball now as the top seed in the conference tournament. They're outright regular season champions. And you're talking about playing these two games that are only an hour and 20 drive away. So Nicholls women's basketball as well, also in Katy for the conference tournament. How special is it for you to be coach of the football game and also having your fellow coaches, Doobie Plaisance and Austin Faunch, both going for conference titles at the same time?
If you can see me smiling over the phone and through the waves over the radio, you can see I'm just super excited. What we keep talking about is so many good things that's happening around here, a lot of good people that's involved in it. It's a great time to be a Colonel. It's time right now that you can put that N with the sword on and wear it proudly. You can put it on Thursday and watch Doobie and the Lady Colonels go play, and then Friday with the men, we're gonna try to watch the men if we can get them on TV at our hotel when we get there and play, and then hopefully they're playing for the championships on Saturday. So it's very exciting time. Our players know. They know that everybody's going to be right down the road. I wish there was a way we can get there, but we have our own business that we have to tend to. So it is great. I'm just happy for everyone in the athletic department. We got baseball and softball that's going to be going on this weekend. You can get your fill of Colonel athletics in a short amount of time.
Yeah, go to GoColonels.com. Check all the schedules on the teams. Again, a busy week upcoming. Nicholls football again, noon on Saturday. Coach, appreciate the time as always. Have a great week of preparation and safe travels over there to Huntsville. You'll get a win this weekend, all right?
All right, Jack. Thanks a lot.
All right, again, this has been the Tim Rebowe Show, powered by Thibodeau Regional Sports Medicine Center. Again, kickoff is noon in Huntsville on Saturday. We'll have pregame coverage for you coming right around 11:30 on 100.3 FM. Jack Benjamin saying so long. Once more, this has been the Tim Rebowe Show, powered by Thibodeau Regional Sports Medicine Center, 100.3 FM, the Colonel Sports Radio Network.